Well, I'm sending greetings to my former colleagues in the Department of Education of the University of Bath. I'm Jack Whitehead, and I spent most of my working life and professional engagement with education as a lecturer in education. First of all in the School of Education and then in the Department of Education at the university. I worked there from 1973 until the finish of my doctoral supervisions in 2012. And during that time, I had a tremendously enjoyable life working with both the initial teacher trainees and in the continuing professional development of teachers and other practitioners. The reason that I'm sending this commemorative video is that there is a gathering on the 17th of June 2014 to mark the ending of the postgraduate certificate course at the university after some 48 years. And it isn't that the course isn't successful. The university have given the grounds for the closure as being the lack of strategic fit with the research-led vision of the university. And what I want to do today is to focus on some of what I call the living legacies that I think will continue to be used and be very useful in initial teacher education and in continuing professional development in the years to come. Now, the idea of living legacies comes from Catherine Forrester, who is just being examined for her Ed.D. thesis at Liverpool Hope University. And this idea of a living legacy is related to something that happened on our postgraduate certificate course in between 1991 and 93 in working with Dr. Moira Laidlaw, who is now Professor of Life at Ningxia Teachers University in China. Moira worked with our PGCE students for their special studies, and she produced a pre-service initial teacher education guide which you can now access from my webpage on actionresearch.net under the pre-service section for Moira Laidlaw 92 to 93. And what I just want to stress in relation to commemorating the work of the education and the postgraduate course at the University of Bath is that these ideas put forward by Moira Laidlaw in her guide are as relevant today as they were in 1992-93, in that she was encouraging our initial trainees to generate their own living theories as explanations of their own influence in their own learning, as they try to live as fully as they can the values that they believed carried hope for the flourishing of humanity. And it's this that I think can characterise the living legacies from the Department of Education in terms of those 48 years of initial teacher education. We've done, I think, a fantastic job in terms of enabling new recruits to enter the profession, and with the values that certainly all the colleagues that I worked with over those many years who worked on the PGCE course were all very committed indeed to the professionalism of the student teachers, of enabling them to enter the profession and also to have a desire to engage in their continuing professional development. And the reason I'm not present at the gathering on the 17th of May is that I accepted an invitation to give a keynote at the Research Institute for Professional Learning and Education at the University of Cumbria on the 18th of June, and that is where I shall be to actually miss, unfortunately, the gathering on the 17th. But I just wanted to send this message because the title of the keynote that I'm giving is actually Enhancing Professionalism in Education through the Living Theories of Practitioner Researchers. And I acknowledge in this keynote the work that Moira Laidlaw did with our postgraduate students in pointing out how they have the capacity to generate their own living theories in terms of their explanations as their own influence as they live their own values as fully as they can in their practice. So here's to wish you well on the 17th, and not to say farewell, but to actually encourage everyone to see and to develop and to integrate insights from the living legacies that I think we've left behind as we move into the future. So really good. I hope everybody has a most enjoyable and productive life in the years to come. So goodbye for now.